Right. Actually live now, so fuck it. Quickly copy this Ponzi piece of shit. Where is the stream options? Yo, can you guys hear me? Is everything working? Yo, what's up? Can you guys hear me? And before, like, my fucking mic's muted or something.
You people can listen to.
Alright, perfect. So, first thing we're going to cover is Bitcoin, then we're going to go to ETH, XRP, EURUSD, Pound USD, USD Yen, oil, a bunch of other shit too. But that's the general kind of structure we're going to go with today. So start with Bitcoin, because I know everybody's going to be asking about this, so it just gets done with straight away. So first thing I can see, guys, on Bitcoin is this fucking gigantic wick that everybody wants to pretend is not there, right? It's so fucking obvious. It's like this thing right here, right? Jesus Christ. Yeah, so that's where I want to see price go, just because, like, look at this entire structure, right? We're not going to drop 50, you're not going to drop like 14, 15K to get all the way down here and then not take out this low. It's just not going to happen, right? It's just not even realistic. Looking at the quarterly chart, there's literally no support. It's a fucking void. It's completely void of sellers on the way up, right? Monthly chart, pretty much the same concept. Like, down here is like the only true support we have. I do think price is going to come down there. Can I be wrong? 100%, guys, but this is just what I see. This is why I'm not trading Bitcoin the past couple of weeks and whatnot. So that's pretty much this. Looking at the microstructure right now, first thing I can see is fact we're kind of in a range-bound market right now. Price has not, managed to establish itself above this previous high up here. If it did that, then I think we would be a little bit more bullish. We are approaching support on the weekly, so we can anticipate some sort of small bounce. I don't think it's going to be anything major. I think it's going to be something a little bit smaller, as opposed to like a fucking 30K wave 3 moon wave thing, bro. So that's why I'm a little bit hesitant to sort of jump in and, tell you guys this is a good long, because I do think up here there's going to be a lot of buy stops. I think the market's definitely going to reach for that, especially because we have equal highs up here, these flat body candles. So if I was making the market, what I would do, and obviously I'm not fucking Arthur. I mean, if I was, I'd be wrecking all the fucking plebs all day. But what I would do is push the price up here, let it take everybody's stops, get everybody excited for a fucking new bull run, then just dump down heavy. That's the ideal case of what I want to see here on Bitcoin. I do think it's very possible we can come down to here, do roughly 3293 before we go a little bit higher. But ideally, I'd be looking for shorts, not longs, because this entire structure is bearish on the higher time frames, and nothing on the, if you're bearish on the monthly, nothing on the fucking daily or the hourly or the 15 minutes is going to change that. So that's just how it is, and that's what I see on Bitcoin. Well, let's move on to ETH super quick. Again, because it's going to be pretty much the same, the same chart. I'm not going to go super in depth with this one. Opens and logs go super quick and find the next legitimate support, and that's going to be down here. As you're kind of already breaking the support zone here, I do think we're going to come down here, test this zone here. A small bounce is definitely likely at 53, probably 50 big figures is probably a better target for this. That's ideally what I want to see in the higher time frames on ETH. I mean, right now we are again approaching support, pretty much the same chart. This is why I really don't trade crypto anymore, because if it's pretty much going to be the same chart as Bitcoin, you may as well just be trading Bitcoin in the end, right? You don't really have anything to kind of hedge yourself off it. So that's currently what I'm seeing right now with this. I would love to see price come down here, get everybody excited again, go up here, reject this previous zone up here, come down much lower. That's the ideal case of what I want to see on ETH. Let's move on to XRP super quick. I'll break this down in a lot more depth than the other two because they're just kind of boring, whereas this one has a bit of a different structure. Oh, fuck. So yeah, first thing we can see on this is like this gigantic range that we're in, right, on the weekly. Especially in the monthly, it's a little bit more apparent. So when we kind of break this down, we can see that it's taking the stops up here, and I think this kind of wick down here is not really present on something like BitMEX or the other exchanges. I think it's only kind of so far I only think it's on Bittrex, so we can pretty much ignore that for the time being. But I do think price is going to want to reach down there in the long run. I mean, look what it's doing. If it truly was bullish, it would have seen a snappy reaction away from this level already. It would not be hovering here, right? Then again, this is not like Forex where like the market's just going to be like, instant, and it's not going to like react straight away. It's going to like take its time before it moves, and this is a monthly zone. So again, this is going to hold a lot more weight than anything on lower time frames. Now looking at the weekly, here, it's a bit of a mess, not going to lie. I mean, I would love to see price kind of take out this wick, but I do think this is the next area of support that we have on the weekly. So I do think if price fails to kind of establish itself above this kind of box here, and the top threshold of that is roughly at 8879. If price kind of fails to find support above that, then I do think it's going to go much lower, at least down to this zone down here, 7499. 75 big figure, probably a better target again. So that's currently what I'm seeing on this. And if you kind of zoom out, look at the higher time frames one more time, just a super quick peek. We are in a range bound market, so that means, you know, the blocks on both sides of the market are pretty much going to be active. And at the minute, the weekly block's down there, but the monthly chart's like, you know, showing us that it wants to come down here to this general block down here and possibly lower. I mean, if it breaks this low, then, you know, we have a shifted market structure in the higher time frames, which means that it's much more likely to go much lower and then take out this low as well, or at least like as a minimum fill in this gap up here. Now looking at this on the daily, is again just not much going on in this market, so I don't really trade it that much at all anymore. I mean, a lot of people think I fucking hate crypto, and I don't really hate it per se. It's just that there's better markets out there, and I was somebody that actually learned to trade, you know, trading outs and whatnot. So yeah, that is pretty much what this is at the minute. Now, if you kind of look at this on EURUSD and compare this to what we're seeing in Bitcoin, right? Like look at the structure; it's just so much cleaner. Even the higher time frames, even in the lower time frames, it's just so much fucking cleaner. So for me personally, I like to trade a lot more Forex recently. Got some water super quick, guys. Yeah. So looking at EURUSD on the higher time frames, let's start with the quarterly, then move down. Let's do some top-down analysis on this. All right. So first thing we can see is prices approaching support on the higher time frames. When price does something like this, it's much more likely to go higher. Look at the way down. We've not managed to gain any resistance on the way down, right? It's just selling. It's only one-sided action. So when we see something like this happen, price can easily, you know, sort of go right through it. There's like pretty much no resistance on the way up. So if price wants to go higher, it really can. There's nothing stopping it. But when we look at this on the monthly, it's a little bit more clear what's actually happening. Price has left this pivot down here, and this pivot's kind of prevented price from going higher. I mean, we've seen a wick above it, but we've not seen a close, and it's also taken the buy stops above this wick as well, right? So now, given the fact that we do have this range, right, I'm not going to go super fancy or whatnot. I'm just going to draw like a very basic range here, and I base all my ranges off SR. I don't do them like, you know, everybody else. I just do them like off SR. I don't really give a shit if, you know, if you think otherwise, but this is just how I do my ranges, right? So look, if price fails to bounce here, which it seems like it's already doing, right? I mean, if it was bullish, it would have found support and started expanding heavily away from it. It's not done that. It's a slow grinding move. Like, I mean, like, look at all the structure, right? When price expands, you know, in the right direction, it goes with like a lot of momentum. It doesn't just sit there. This is oscillating. So it means that this move up, this like higher low, right? Sorry, it's lower high, my bad, got the market structure mixed up. It's definitely geared to go much lower, and down here we have a lot of inefficiency and a lot of sell stops. So I do think this is going to be my first target on EURUSD for macro down here, but I do think we're much more likely to come down here and at least, you know, fill in this macro gap before we do anything like, you know, anything a little bit more major than that. So ideally, looking at this whole structure right now, I would love to see price kind of, you know, reach for this sort of zone. Let me actually get the magnet tool super quick, something like that. Now if you break this down on the daily and kind of, you know, look at this in a little bit more depth, like it's not looking perfect, but initially, like earlier on today, I was kind of longing this intraday, this kind of block here, and then price was going up. Now it's obviously reversing because Dixie's pumping. You know, personally, like my chart on Dixie was actually not panning out. I can bring that up for you guys if you want, let me know. But SMFX's chart on Dixie was much better. I was actually using that to trade today. And we were on a call yesterday, and he was actually explaining his thought process behind that. And I do agree with him. If I pull up Dixie super quickly and show you guys. So ideally, look what it's done, right? Like, look what it's done right now. It's broke above this daily breaker, right? And we thought it was going to stop at the hourly block, and it's went much beyond that, I'm fairly sure at this point, right? As we can see, it definitely has. It's cleared that zone. So now, you know, we're just waiting for more confirmation that it wants to move in one direction or another before jumping in. Ideally, a pullback here is where I'm going to look to long. Pardon me, guys. I'm drinking sparkling water. I'm on like I want to say 20-hour fast right now, so that's why my stomach's a little messed up. But anyway, looking at this entire structure, you know, it's very likely it's going to see some sort of pullback soon, at least down at this zone here, 96.23. If we see that, and it's not a guarantee, but if we see that, then we're much likely to go much higher. And as long as we can maintain ourselves above this level, that's the ideal case. I mean, realistically, for a real make or break level, I'm looking at something like, you know, this general zone down here, like 96.09. But for the current time being, I don't want to see price, you know, go below 96.23 with a 1 hour candle and close below that. A wick is fine, obviously, but I just don't want to see a close. You know, looking at this general kind of structure here, it should see some sort of reaction of this. This is the ideal case that we were looking for. we're actually looking to short it down here, but that didn't, that didn't happen that we were expecting. So given the, what's the word here? Given the momentum that we're seeing and the heavy expansion that we're seeing to the upside, I do think we're going to go much, much higher. And my weekly stance on Dixie is that we're going to kind of go in and fill in this gap, this 98 big figure. This has not changed since the last time I did a live stream. So everything's panning out. I would love to see price expand a little bit more heavier, take out this equal high up here, and then go for the 98 big figure. Now, if you move on from here back to Euro USD super quickly, guys, let it load. If Dixie pumps, then Euro USD is much more likely to go lower, especially given the fact that 95% of, no, sorry, not 95, but I think it's like 57 or something. It's a pretty significant number of Dixie's weight is pretty much Euro USD, so it's much more likely to come down here, or at least come down here, and that's being conservative, guys. I really do think that Euro is going to go much, much lower in the long term. And a lot of people don't support this view, but I'm telling you, I mean, look at the structure in the higher time frames, right? Especially German. Like, let me actually unmute him super quick. Should I unmute German or not? What do you guys think? They can't hear you chanting, bro. Yeah, okay, fuck it. We'll just continue. So yeah, looking at this whole structure. Right, dude, I'm gonna end up having to mute you myself if you keep like talking because I'm trying to focus here, bro. So yeah, this entire structure, look at it. So if it fails to find support above this zone, it's pretty much came inside the range, right? If it's came inside the range, what does that mean? That the next zone is going to be the range low. It can bounce at the mid-range. It's just not as probable anymore, right? And this is the quarterly. We're not looking at the daily, the hourly, or any of that nonsense. We're looking at the really, really higher time frames, right? So if price really fails to find support here, it's going to go down to at least here. That's a pretty substantial drop. That's like a fucking crypto drop, isn't it? Like, look at this shit. Like, it's ridiculous. We're looking at something like a 16% drop. Obviously, that's going to take a few years to pan out. It's not going to be immediately, but that's just kind of like what I'm looking at, with Euro USD. Let's move on to Pound USD. This is a fucking shitcoin, man. Look at this thing. Genuine fucking scam. Look at it. Right, with this one, looking at the COT data, I was initially bearish on this, like last time we did a stream, but I do think we're going to go higher now. I mean, I don't know how it's going to work with Dixie per se, but I do think because of Brexit and just pound being a general scam in general, I do think it's going to go much higher. Because look at the zone right now, right? We're testing this kind of block right now. We're losing momentum for this downtrend. As you can see, it's not, we're not seeing the explosive big-bodied candles. We're seeing more smaller bodied candles now. I mean, ideal case is like I just avoid this until we at least break above this zone here. And if you find support above 1.3 big figure, or I mean a little bit higher if you want to, play like that. But essentially, that's a general zone I'm looking at. So if we can find support above that, then we're much more likely to go much, much higher, take out these equal highs. I'd honestly say if you find support above that zone, we're probably going to go to at least here. It's not going to be immediate. This is more of a macro target again, guys. Again, if the market shows us something different, we switch buys. Like you guys see me to do that this morning, right? I was bullish on a pound yen. The market flipped. I flipped my bias at least like 8 times. I still fucking made money, and that's all that matters, right? It's not about being right, because that's not gonna, because that doesn't really, make you money. Gonna get a quick sip of water. I'm gonna unmute German, let him talk for a bit. Bear with me, guys.
All right, so I guess I'm unmuted. What I wanted to say is about what Goose said, that no matter how right you are, it's just about making money. And even if you have a low hit rate, but you have good R&R trades, good risk reward, you can still make money, okay? And that's the thing. You don't need a good hit rate. It would be optional, but you don't need it. You only need good R&R trades. And that's all that I want to say.
Cheers, German. Yeah, I definitely do agree with German on that stance that you only need like a really good R&R. I mean, you also can't take the piss. You can't just sit there with one night, you can't sit there with like a 1-to-9 risk to reward ratio and fucking expect every single target to hit. You're going to get stopped out a lot like that, right? But, there's like that kind of inverse to that as well. If you have like a 3-to-1 risk to reward or like a 5-to-1, then that's like reasonable and manageable, right? It's something that you can actually see hitting all the time. Then you only need to be right, I think, 30% of the time to be profitable. You're not going to be wildly, fucking 30x a month profitable. You're just going to be like over the, just breaking that, break even thing. But again, in the end of the day, you're so profitable, and that's what matters in the end of the day. Because you can be right all the fucking time. If you can't jump on the charts or you get stopped out for whatever reason, then it's fucking useless, right? It's actually a problem I fucking suffered a lot, so it's pretty annoying to actually see that happen. But anyway, moving back to our chart on Pound USD, let me actually get rid of this to make it a little bit clearer. On the 4-hour, I do think we're going to see much more downside expansion, probably down to here. I want to see us find support at this general zone. Ideally up there, but I mean down here is also okay. I just don't want to see us break this general area down here. If you break this zone, let me make this a little bit thicker so we can have a little bit more of a, you know, so it pops out a little bit more on the chart. So if you break 1.27306 and find resistance, I do think we're going to go much lower. In that case, then I do think we are going to take out the macro low down here. And again, you know, it's not going to stop just there. It's going to go down to at least here, as we previously talked about. So that's what I'm seeing on the fucking scam coin. Let's move on to dollar yen. Again, no change on this one. Pardon me, the sparkling water is really messing up my stomach, guys. Bear with me. Yeah, so moving on to scam coin 2, which is dollar yen. Looking at this Ponzi piece of shit, it's going up here and it's kind of going up here, and look what it's done. It's filled in this gap, right? It came super close to this gap, went above it. Now it's done its upside objective. So now at the minute we're looking for it to find support, and look what it's done. It's found explosive support. Now it's moving to the top, and now I'm personally pretty bearish on yen in immediately. I would say I do think that, you know, over the long run we are going to see a massive expansion on yen, which means that dollar yen, pound yen, AJ, all those other yen pairs are going to dump, right? Because yen is the second pair. So at the minute, I would like to see a little bit more upside on this pair as well, and I'll break down AJ for you guys as well. But this is really not much has changed. I would love to see price go up there because we do have a higher time frame objective right there, as you can see. I think it's a weekly zone if I'm correct. Yeah, it's a block there, and we also have like a confluent, I think a lower time frame zone. I don't remember. I made this chart a while back, so that's currently what I'm seeing on this one. I would love to see price go a little higher, give us, you know, some sort of reason to jump back in. Ideally something like that kind of pattern that we're looking at here, like a kind of like a squiggly line. More so like your typical kind of Elliott wave kind of patterns, like an impulse correction. That's currently what I'm looking at here, and that's the ideal case. I would love to see price go a little higher here, maybe per se, then work down again, find support above the zone, maybe work below, and then go much higher. So I'm really not looking to touch this pair until we come up to here, and once we hit this general kind of zone, let me give you the coordinates for that. We're looking at oh fuck, it's not even working. Roughly 133. If you hit that zone and form a swing high up there, I do think we're going to go much fucking lower if you do see something like that. So that's the ideal case scenario for me, a swing high up here below the equilibrium. And let me zoom out because I don't really remember where I made this, where I got this zone from. Yeah, this is the EQ of the macro range. So we do have a pivot there as well, as we can see, right? So in the ideal case is that price finds resistance on this general zone, then it goes much lower, and that's what I'm looking for on dollar yen. Let's move on to the next thing, USD CAD. Now, yeah, so this is like an old chart that I made when I was back in TLO. Love for the TLO guys, by the way. Panned out perfectly. I closed it so fucking early. I wish I held it. I would have been up like 200-300 pips, but shit happens. It's no big deal. Now look what it's doing right now, right? Let me actually format this chart. Let's just start fresh. So at the minute, it's definitely bearish. There's like no denying that right now, right? Up here on the daily, we can see equal highs. I would love to see this get taken out, right? Ideally, the 1.3 big figure. I would love to see this zone get swept, and then it goes much lower. I'd love to see like a fast wick in this general zone, maybe even filling in this super quick gap over here at roughly 1.3292. That's the ideal case if it goes up there, and then from there it goes much fucking lower. So something like this, let me show you in terms of a squiggly line or pattern or whatever. I would like to see price do something like this, go lower, much higher, find support at this general block over here, as you can see, right? And then from there it goes a little bit higher, then dumps down. That's the ideal case for this one. If you find support above that zone, my bias will flip. Again, given, you know, how bullish Dixie is right now, I'm a little bit hesitant to jump into this pair as well. I'm kind of avoiding most of the majors. I'm just trading a lot of crosses at the minute just because Dixie is looking like it could go pretty much either way. So, you know, when you're in a scenario like this, you do want to sit on the sidelines. Pardon me. Next pair. All right, this is a really tasty pair. German, do you want to talk about this one, or do you want me to do it? Because I know you have this charted. Yeah. Yeah, I'll unmute you super quick. If you want me to pull up your chart or something, let me know.
Okay. Right, so, I'm unmuted, right?
Yeah. Everybody can hear you, brother.
So, what I am seeing on USDJPY, on the weekly that is, so it's gonna take a time to pan out, of course.
Yo, send me your chart super quick so I can actually show them what you're looking at.
Sure. Was this chart, I think?
Alright, go for it.
Okay. It may not be the best chart, but
Dude, don't worry, bro. If it makes money, that's all that fucking matters. Nobody cares about how good it looks, bro. It's
So
like,
we have the big liquidity pool up here, where I said retail stops at the first green line. So that's the pool, the the buy stop pool, and I think we're gonna break that actually, and then hit this untested block. It's untested, so there's a gap in between, and then we're gonna probably dump, take the whole move which led to the bearish order block, take the sell stops below the red line, where the first red line where I said retail stops, and then probably gonna hit this block, but only partially do a dead cat bounce, because I don't believe in normal OBs anymore. Then again take the buy stop pool and the second red line at the second retail stops line. Again take the whole inefficient move from 5th February, and then again stop at a block there because there's a block, but only again do partial dead cat bounce. Again take the stops, and then fill the void at the last bullish order block, which is on 5th January. It's basically the last red line. I'm gonna fill that void, and we're gonna fill that gap.
yeah. I don't want to expose you too long, giving a prediction that's like that far away, because I know people will get fucking triggered, so I'm not going to do that. Yeah, let me quickly mute you super quick, brother. Guys, if I've been helpful, drop a quick like. It really helps me out. Growing this channel, obviously. I'm just going to do like free stuff. I'm not going to charge you guys ever. So yeah, looking at, I actually got like a better chart on this. Let me pull it up super quick. Bear with me. We'll break down silver as well. Give me a minute. Let me pull up dollar franc. I have a really good chart on this. It's panning out pretty much perfectly. I'm very bullish on this. I'm not sure if this is the right chart. Okay, this is not the right chart. Yeah, this could take like a couple of minutes, so bear with me. Yeah, ideal case for me on dollar Swissy, I would love to see price go a little higher, then come down here, test that zone, that breaker zone up here on the 4 hour. That's the ideal case scenario for me. If you see that happen, and then we see it's already kind of happening right now. Actually, I'd love to see a little bit more kind of expansion up, up to here, maybe a pullback, a small pullback, then one more kind of push up into this kind of block fill up here. This zone at 1.00455, that's a pretty significant level, because I'm fairly confident it's a higher time frame block. Let me quickly check it super quickly for you guys. Yeah, it's a midpoint of this order block down here, so I do think price is going to want to reach for that. It might not go all the way up here, but I'm going to be very happy with price hitting 1.00346, and then if you see a sharp rejection from there, then that's ideal. In that case, we can play German's chart, and then we can pretty much expect price to come down lower before it goes a little bit higher. Ideally testing the zone here again, because again, we have like this very expansive candle, and then, we're definitely void of sellers on this move up from this general zone. So pretty much 0.9949 is what I'm looking for price to find support if we see a rejection from this bearish order block. And moving on to kind of a blank chart here, it's looking a little bit exhaustive, but I mean, look at it, like it's just pushing through, right? And the higher time frames, we do have much more objectives to go much higher, because we've, if you look at this current range right now, right, and you kind of map out where the liquidity is resting, it's down here. It's already taken that below these equal lows. So the next area of liquidity is going to be resting above marketplace, and that's going to be over here. We have this gap, so that's going to be our first, our first zone we want to see get filled, and that's really why I want to see that 1.44 level get filled, which is a little bit higher than what we're seeing here. Break this down to monthly super quick. Pretty much the same concept. We are seeing bullish institutional order flow, which pretty much just means all the downticks are providing support, and the upticks are getting cut through. So we're not seeing the bearish order box hold. We're seeing the bullish order box push price up. So because of this current scenario, I do think we're going to go much higher. There's equal highs up here too. So ideally, I'd love to see that get taken out before we see a move down. Something like this would be perfect for me. Something like that down there, then a little bit higher. I'm not entirely confident on this move up here. I'm confident that we will see like a break of 1.04345. I'm not too confident on the move up here though. That's a little bit of a gamble for me. I'll kind of wait for price to develop, but that's my general kind of plan with dollar Swissy on the monthly. Breaking this down the weekly. Yeah, it's taken a lot of liquidity, so it wouldn't surprise me if it wants to like reject down here super quick, then go much higher. as that would kind of trap everybody in that wants to short this thing, thinking the dollar is going to dump with SPX and whatnot. So that's my current thoughts on dollar franc. Let's move on to oil. Now, I fucking love oil, man. Like, look at this thing. It's just perfect. Like, it just pans out so perfectly. Honestly, like, if you're trading fucking Bitcoin and you're moving into like the traditional markets and you want to look for something to play oil. It's very, very like reactive. It's like snappy fast, right? It's not the easiest market. I'm telling you right now, it's not the easiest, but the price action is super clean. It moves nicely, right? At the minute, you know, it's going pretty nicely. We've seen a rejection above here. I do think it's going to want to come and take out this block. Well, not this block, but this wick. And that's an understatement. I mean, look what it's done here, right? No support on the way down. Well, hardly any support, right? In terms of resistance. So no resistance on the way down. It came very close to this, you know, this wick. It's not going to leave the liquidity resting above that and not take it. Personally, I would love to see price go a little bit higher, find support at this general level where we are right now. For me, I want to see price maintain itself above 53.33. Break this down on the 4 hour super quick. Again, you know, same concept here. If price can find support at 53.68, go much higher, that would be perfect. Hardly any, you know, levels gained on the way down. So, you know, if prices want to go higher, it's got the perfect scenario right now. So that's currently what I'm seeing on oil. Let's move on super quickly to silver. This is a fucking shitcoin as well, man. Pretty much everything is a shitcoin at the minute. But, you know, we have approached a pretty higher time frame zone. Let me do this like completely live again. From scratch, right? Let me break this down for you guys. So look at this zone, right? We have this breaker. We have this mitigation block breaker, SR flip, all the same concept, right? Look what it's done. So we have the low of the breaker down here. We have the close of the breaker down here, and we have, I'd probably say the open, but it's not that relevant. Let's quickly draw in our EQ from the open to close, and I'll make that black in a sec, guys. Bear with me. Something like this, right? If you look at this on lower time frame, something like the weekly, and get a little bit of a better feel what it wants to do. Look what it's done. It's rejected that zone on the weekly. Now it's, you know, going down. It's testing a previous breaker here. So again, it's at a make or break zone at the minute. We'll look at this on the daily super quick, something like this. So if it's truly bullish, it's going to find support here. If not, it's going to reject it and go lower. Given my bullish stance on dollar, I do think it's going to want to go a little bit lower before it goes higher. And that's why I was looking for shorts initially. And that still kind of stands for me. I'm just waiting right now for price to do its thing before I do anything, jump in on either side. Ideal case for me right now would be something like this. Price goes down here, rejects this zone, goes much lower. But I can see an upside potential as well, especially if Dixie shits the bed, which is also a strong possibility at the minute. But for me to go long, I'd love to see a break and retest of this zone, which is roughly 15.943. So if you see that happen, find support down here, I'll long it up there. The thing is, I don't care about missing this move here or missing this move down here. It's because, like, you know, if you have the confirmation, you can go in there with like a heavy position and you don't really give a shit if it's going to hit or not, because you know the probabilities are like definitely in your favor, as opposed to like sitting here, you know, watching the chart for every 5-10 minutes. That's my typical kind of strategy with most of the pairs at the minute. You know, that's why I'm like right now, because we don't have that much certainty, I am definitely scalping in intraday trading. But typically my normal style is more short term. I like to hold it for a couple of days, but we don't have that kind of move yet. You know, you do want to see like one kind of leg up to kind of give you, so pretty much, you know, price kind of sort of confirms that it does want to go higher. Just want to just kind of sit around these sort of general zones or something like that. But ideally, you know, move up there is what I'm looking for. I'm stumbling my words like heavy, so bear with me, guys. But let's move on to New Zealand yen. Now this one is fucking perfect looking, right? Weekly chart. Let's see what it's doing. Right, weekly chart. Look how far it is away from its objective. Do you think it's going to stop here? No, it's just a pullback. You know, what happens in downticks? Smart money buys, right? So if you look on the daily super quick and see what we can see there, if my chart wants to fucking load, it's approaching this kind of zone here. I would love to see like a raid of these lows down here. It's already raided this kind of general low. This wick would be perfect. You know, ideal case in the lower time frames, we do have support where we currently are testing. So, you know, if it can find support and break above this zone, that's when I'm looking to jump in for a long, something like this, much higher. Charts on Twitter, I'll pull it up super quick for you guys. I think it's on here. NZD Yen, FXCM. It's not this one, then it's going to be Orlando. Yeah, this is the chart. Look, we have a higher time frame block up here. I think it's the mitigation on the weekly. Yeah, maybe the daily. Bear with me. Yeah, I can't remember where I got that block from. It probably a monthly zone or something. But just trust me, there's like a support zone there, right? At this point, I'm fairly sure you guys can trust me, right? So we have a support zone there on the higher time frames, right? And look what it's done. It's filled in this gap, and I would love to see price go up to 96.29. It's finding support in this general 4-hour zone right now. So ideal case, if it, we do see higher highs, higher lows. The best case scenario is we break above this high and then find support much higher. Then that way you don't have to watch a chart. But if you do want to intraday scalp this thing, ideal case would be a little bit higher up here, break above this candle here, roughly 153. If you see that happen, find support above that wick, price is going to be much more likely to go much, much higher. For a minimum, I would love to see like this gap here get filled in. It's inefficiency. We could stop here, so I would definitely take some profits down here at this gap fill roughly at 95.474. But the second we break above this breaker, at 95.602, it's pretty much it's smooth ceiling to our target. So if you really want to play the low hanging fruit, see if price can get us here. If you can see something like that happen, let me make this a green. If you can't see that kind of thing happen, then all you have to do is wait for a swing low down here, and then price is pretty much guaranteed. Well, I wouldn't say guaranteed, right? I'm not gonna give you fucking refunds, so yeah. But essentially, I do think if price goes up there, then it's much more likely to go much, much higher. The probabilities are definitely in our favor for a bullish case, just because we have the liquidity resting here and the liquidity resting above there as well. So that's currently what I'm seeing on that pair. Let's move on super quickly to, I think we have like one more pair to do. Oh, my bad. Where's my chart gone, bro? There it is. Move on to the next one. Yeah, and New Zealand CAD, NC. Again, this is a chart I found in the FX War Room. I'm pretty much only in 2 groups these days. Like I speak in a lot of groups, but I only pay attention in PA Palace and FX War Room. So if you guys want to reach me out, get some invites there. Hit me up in a DM. I'll get you guys invited. But essentially, that's like the only 2 places you're gonna find me. Most of the time anyway. I found this setup in I think FX War Room, and I want to see price kind of find resistance down here. I still think it's immature. Reason why is because look what it's doing.'t was expansive, it would have rip right now. It's just sitting there. So that means there's something holding price in this general zone. I'm trying to understand what is doing that, and I can't tell at the minute. So I'm a little bit more hesitant to jump in. As we can see, it definitely has probed the lows. I mean, the ideal case for me is a run of these buy stops up here before price goes lower. Something like this. I don't know if we'll get it, but that's the ideal case on NZD CAD. So yeah, I mean, this kind of complies with what we're seeing across the board on CAD, oil, and NZD. So this is why this is a pretty good trade, but it's going to be choppy until we get that move up there, if we do get that, unless we see an expansion. For in the event that we don't see a move down there, the next thing we can anticipate is something like this to happen. Let me quickly move it down like this, go on the lower time frame like the 15. Ideally, a breakdown here, and then a retest. It will retest in the lower time frame. We're talking 5:15. It's going to do a retest here somewhere. And the second you see that, that's your opportunity to short. You're pretty much got like literally no resistance on the way down. Like this is a really, really good play once we get it. This is one of those kind of plays you do want to stalk. It's going to pay off. Look, no resistance till we get down to here, but ideally we're looking at down there, right? And just from where we are, that's like, I don't even know how many pips. Let me quickly measure for you guys. Something like this. Yeah, we're looking at 20 pips. And that's pretty decent. It's not amazing. It's not like a fucking yen pair. We're going to get like 300, 400 pips, but if you can jump in there with like a lot of certainty and you can compound your trade, then does it even matter if you have like 1,000 pips, 400 pips, 10 pips? It's all the fucking same. It's all risk management in the end, right? It's all about position sizing. So that's why I'm sitting here waiting for a little bit more confirmation before jumping in. But I do think when this goes, it's going to rip really heavy. So really do definitely pay attention to this pair. And I think one more pair we're going to do now is going to be the SPX before we get German to spit some fire bars. Pretty much no change, guys. I would love to see like a pullback soon. I don't like this pair too much. I like the NASDAQ a little bit more. See, if I was making the market, right, and everybody's anticipating price to take out these triple highs, I would give us a rejection block up here. A rejection block pretty much means it wipes out the stops above the bodies, but doesn't quite get to the wicks. So it doesn't actually make a higher high, but just wipes above the bodies, right? That would be perfect. If you see something like that, move down lower, much lower. And if you see that kind of move happen, right, and it kind of correlates with New Zealand yen for a second, right? Yen is pretty much inverse to SPX and the major indices. So look at this. If we do have a lot of room to go higher on the yen pairs, then what does that mean for the SPX indirectly? It's not going to be tick for tick, right? But it gives a little bit more confirmation that it can press a little bit higher. And I'm not saying this is a bad place to short. I'm just saying it like, look at it. It's not going to, you know, everybody and their dad's fucking shorting this right now. So do you really think it's gonna let them get away with that? Obviously not. It's gonna want to do something before it takes it goes in their direction. Ideally, the market likes to hunt people before it does that. So second, we see people get stopped out, and we see bullish news above this zone, and people are like, all right, buy SPX making a new high, and we see Bloomberg and fucking CNBC and all those guys like saying the price is going to go higher. That's your opportunity to pretty much short. It's like, it's no different from Bitcoin when like the CNBC guy comes on every other day. He's like, oh, Bitcoin's going to dump, and it fucking pumps like 300% or something. Okay, that's a little bit exaggerating, but you know what I mean. Essentially counter trade the news when we get up there, but I do think we are approaching some sort of exhaustion kind of thing. So looking at the structure again, a consolidation up here would be ideal. And then the bull flag guys are going to think it's going to go much, much higher, but ideally it's not actually going to give them the full bull flag target, which is going to be something like this. This is the bull flag target, right? We're looking for like a move up here, a partial hit of that bull flag target, like a midpoint of this block would be ideal. 2775 looks like a good number to me, like, well, maybe not 2775, but in that general kind of zone down there is what I'm looking at for a rejection. Let me make this a different color so it's a little bit more always what I'm meaning. So look, the bull flag guys are going to get trapped because they're expecting price to go much higher, right? They're expecting these highs to get taken out. But ideally, if the market hurts them and doesn't actually go all the way up there and gives us something like this before it expands on heavy, that's going to trap the most amount of orders in possible. So that's what I'm looking for in the ideal case for SPX. Does that mean we'll get it? I don't know. Market's not been amazing the past couple of weeks. So hopefully by next week it can clear up for us, because I don't like trading this environment, because again, I'm not really fond of, you know, intraday scalping or all this nonsense. I love to fucking jump in and take, you know, a position and not have to worry about it for like at least 4 or 5 days. So yeah, I think that's us for now. I'm gonna get German to pretty much do his wrap, and then I think we're gonna call it off here. German, how you feeling, bro?
Confident.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, dude, do you want to proceed with this then? Yeah.
Sure. Gotta get the setup ready and shit.
And also, guys, you know, if I've been helpful at all, please drop a like, because it's gonna help out a lot, guys. You know, it just takes you like a second of your day, helps me out a lot. I'm trying to grow this channel so I can just like put out free content. I'm not even trying to charge you guys or anything like that. So yeah. All right, German, bro, you got the mic.
Don't forget to put some stuff in the jar.
Yeah, all the money that gets donated to the tip jar goes to German.
Why you broke up?
Oh, really? Can you hear me now?
No, repeat again.
Yeah, so all the money that goes in the tip jar goes to German. So yeah.
Yeah. if you like my rap, just tip him a jar. Right. Before I proceed, Grüße gehen raus an Lennart. All right, let's proceed.
Yo, I don't know what you said, but I think you can proceed, bro.
Got some heat from Germany, prepare for some misery. Only word is victory. What a fucking tragedy. Trading is my gaming plan. Everybody's my fan. Indicators fucking suck. Now you're out of fucking luck. Algorithms are only shit. Never can they even hit. Go and buy that Anna bot so Tom can go someplace hot. You're a fucking crypto trader, I'm a motherfucking raider. Never will you freaking learn, you're about to fucking burn. It is time for you to die. Tell your mom that I said hi. Subscribe to Goo immediately, or you'll live in agony. That's it. Boom, fire boys.
Thank you, German, man, and thank you guys for watching the stream. Really appreciate you guys. We'll do this pretty much weekly. I'm not sure if we'll get German to wrap in weekly, but we'll see, because I don't want to push him too hard on that kind of thing. I've got a bunch of guests lined up, you know, guys bigger than me, guys smaller than me. I don't really give a fuck about publicity. I'm fairly sure that's obvious by this point, or I'd compose myself on Twitter. I don't give a fuck. I'm just trying to help you guys like make money. But yeah, guys, pay attention. Hope you guys have a pretty good week going forward from here, and thanks for watching, guys, and good luck trading. Peace.
Goodbye.